So today we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea. It's a system called Immani, and it's all about creating universal accountability. We're going to break down how it's trying to tackle a problem that, let's be honest, affects pretty much all of us.
Yeah, you know that feeling, right? That awful sinking feeling in your stomach when someone breaks a promise or just walks away from their responsibility and you're left there thinking, there's nothing I can do.
And really, that feeling is just a symptom of a much bigger issue. Let's call it the untouchable problem. And you see it pop up in so many parts of life, in ways both big and small.
I mean, think about it. If you're a freelancer, you do incredible work. You put your heart and soul into it, you deliver everything on time, and poof, the client just disappears. No payment, no replies to your emails. What's your next move?
Or here's another classic. You move out of a rental, you clean the place top to bottom, it's spotless, but your landlord just decides, nah, I'm keeping the security deposit. Good luck fighting that. And it's not just business. This stuff happens with the people we're supposed to trust the most. You lend a family member some money to help them out, and that promise to pay you back, it just sort of evaporates.
And, of course, the nightmare scenario for any homeowner. You hire a contractor, you give them a down payment, and then they're just gone. Half a project sitting in your house and your money is gone with them.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Because in every single one of those situations, the client, the landlord, the contractor, the core problem is exactly the same. They act like they're untouchable because they know that for you to actually fight back, it's probably going to be way too expensive, way too complicated, or just impossible.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, the big idea with Immani isn't about creating some new kind of punishment. No, it's about something much simpler and honestly, a lot more powerful. Just making accountability visible for everyone to see. And this is where we get to the absolute heart of the system, the idea of a public history. The best way to get your head around it is to think of it like a credit score, but for your reputation and your trustworthiness. If someone files a formal, evidence-backed dispute against you and you just ignore it, it doesn't just vanish. It becomes a permanent, searchable mark on your public record.
So how does that happen? Well, the process is actually really clear and straightforward. Step 1, you file your dispute, but you have to back it up with evidence. Step 2, the other person gets notified and the clock starts ticking. They have a deadline to respond. And if that deadline comes and goes with no resolution, that's step 3. The dispute officially becomes public history. And from that moment on, anyone, a future client, a new landlord, a potential business partner, can search their name and see it. Suddenly, their reputation is on the line.
And check this out. This is what it could actually look like. Imagine you're about to work with John Doe, and you see this profile. You don't just see the negative, the one unresolved dispute. You also see the positive, the 3 times he's made things right. You get a much more complete picture of who you're dealing with. The motivation to actually resolve problems becomes huge.
Okay, so that's the consequence. That's the stick that makes the system work. Now let's zoom out a bit and look at how all the different parts of Immani fit together to build this whole ecosystem of trust.
The whole thing really rests on 3 main pillars. First, there's agreements, so you can create clear, digitally signed contracts to prevent problems in the first place. Second, if things do go south, you have disputes, which is how you start that accountability clock. And third, and this is crucial, there's a path to fixing things with professional mediation.
And that mediation part isn't just some add-on. It's a really core feature, and it's built on what they call franchise-level standards. Think about the kind of consistency and quality you expect from a huge global brand like a FedEx or a KFC. That's the same kind of professional standard they're aiming for here.
And to make that happen, this isn't some small operation. We're talking about a robust network of over 500 certified, judiciary-accredited professionals, so you know that expert help is actually there when you need it.
And get this, they're incredibly effective. These mediators have a 95% resolution rate, which basically means if both people are willing to come to the table, the conflict is almost guaranteed to get solved in a fair way.
And this isn't just a local thing. The network is global. It's accessible in over 50 countries, which makes even those tricky cross-border deals and disagreements a whole lot more manageable for regular people.
So, when you start to put all of these pieces together, the clear agreements, the public accountability, the accessible mediation, you realize you're not just creating a tool, you're actually laying the groundwork for a totally new culture of trust.
This slide here really captures that whole shift perfectly. We're talking about moving away from that world of feeling powerless and dealing with broken promises to a world of universal accountability and truly binding agreements.
You go from endless, frustrating he said, she said arguments to a visible public history, and from crazy expensive legal battles to accessible, affordable mediation.
And the vision for this is genuinely universal. The same rules, the same standard of accountability applies to absolutely everyone. It completely levels the playing field. It doesn't matter if we're talking about a small personal promise between friends or a massive corporate contract, nobody is untouchable.
I love this thought. It's so true, isn't it? The problems of broken trust, of people not taking responsibility, they've been with us since the dawn of time. The only thing that changes are the names and the circumstances. A system like this is really about creating a modern solution for a very, very old problem.
And that really brings us to the final big question. Just think about it for a second. What would our world actually look like if real accountability was the norm, not the exception? What if your reputation was directly tied to your actions and nobody, no person, no company, no matter how powerful, was truly untouchable? It's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.